Joining me to discuss, Lieutenant Colonel Hal Kempfer, a retired U.S. Marine Corps intelligence officer, and now the president of KIP, a strategic risk management firm. Good to have you with us, Hal.
Thank you, Michelle.
All right. Let's firstly start off with Secretary Pompeo. North Korea wants him out. They don't want him involved in any further talks. The statement from the North Koreans translates into saying that Pompeo was, quote, misrepresenting the meaning of our requirement for the negotiations to be finalized by the year's end. And then they referred to his, quote, talented skill of fabricating stories. So basically, they're calling him a liar here. What do you make of this?
Well, I think Secretary Pompeo is playing a little hardball with them. It's negotiations. It's tough negotiations. Substantively, North Korea hasn't really done a lot in terms of denuclearization since really going back to the Singapore summit. They've made a few things, they've made a few changes, cosmetic things for the most part. But we have a very good ability to track what's going on in North Korea. And we can see not just what they're showing us, but we can see, for the most part, many things that they don't want us to see. So we're dealing with a high level of intelligence, if you will, when we go into these negotiations. And when they tell us that they're doing something and we know full well they aren't, I think we've been calling them on it, and it's very frustrating. This has gotten beyond all the sort of flourish and rhetoric and, all the things of the summit, which is really more of a rapport-building thing, and gotten into the substance. And they're angry at Secretary Pompeo. They're not happy with National Security Advisor Bolton. And Gina Haspel, the CIA director today, made some comments that makes it very clear that she's very much in sync with what the Secretary and the National Security Advisor are saying.
Hal, what do you make of this test firing of this tactically guided missile? Clearly a way to get attention out of the U.S. and probably a domestic power play as well. What's your read on this and what this weapon is?
Well, it's just a tactical rocket. They made a lot of sort of overblown statements about there's no way that we could track it or anything like that. I watched the test and I watched the trajectory. Obviously, we could track that missile. I think it's something that they've had, that they needed to do a test, and they've been holding off for political purposes. And Kim Jong-un just decided now's a good time to do a test of something. What do we have waiting? They said, well, we have this little, tactical missile. And he says, well, let's do something with that. The other thing was he went out there, about the same time and watched them take off with some of their newest fighter jets, a couple of newer MiGs. They don't fly very often. They don't have fuel to fly. Their maintenance is in a horrific state. And so he's watching this, and I kind of watched them take off. And I'm thinking that's probably one of the few flight hours those pilots are going to get anytime soon. So a lot of show. This is all political statement, and it's aimed directly at us.
Yeah, it's interesting, Hal, that it didn't fly on what analysts are calling a ballistic trajectory. So technically not a violation of Kim's promise to suspend those ballistic missile tests. But we'll see how the president responds. We know Kim wants a third summit. Hal Kempfer, always a pleasure. Thank you so much.